Hello, everyone. I was away. Now I'm back. Let's talk about games. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Average Joe Gamer podcast. Yes, I was away. I was gone for a work conference for a week, and then the week after, it was kind of. I'm just making up excuses at this point. It was a mix of being tired and catching up with stuff, so I didn't get an episode out that week either. But I'm back in it. It feels good to be back in it. It feels good to be talking about games, playing games, and we'll get into it. Just real quick though, before we really do, for the work trip, I had to fly on a plane, and so what I ended up doing was I was looking at what to play on my Steam Deck, and I ended up buying, before I left, I bought Balatro, and what a great choice that was. If you're not aware, if you've been living under a rock, Balatro is the current indie darling that's been winning all the Game of the Year awards. Ton of accolades, well deserved. It is a very simple card-based game. Now, if you are anything like me, if you were to sit there and say that it's a card-based game, it's almost an instant turnoff. I'm not really into video game card-related games overall. There's, of course, a few exceptions to those rules, but generally when someone says, hey, this is a really good card game, I just instantly start to think, oh, there's all these rules I have to learn. Strats that I don't really feel like getting into, and I just never really do it. That's my own bias. It's stupid, but that's just the first thing that comes into my head. But Balatro is super, super simple. I'm sure it's, harder to master once you get more into it, but it's super simple. It's poker-based, and that does not mean that it's poker-based as in you're playing against someone else and you have to bluff and do all that other stuff. But it's just the hands that are in poker. So your pair, your two pair, your three of a kind, full house, stuff like that. You're looking for those combinations in the group of cards that you are dealt. And all you're trying to do is beat the high score. Or beat whatever score the game is telling you to beat. So it'll say get 400 points. So you're trying to get more than 400 points. And then the next one is 600, next is 800, next is 1,000, so on and so forth. So there's combinations to that as well, to where you get these hands, you get the points, and then you unlock jokers that you can buy with the points that you're giving. And those jokers will give you like multipliers. So like if you get a pair, like the joker might say if you have a pair, there's 2 times the amount of points. Or if you have a card with a spade in it, it's 3 times the amount of points. And that just kind of adds to, the dopamine of just getting more and more points, more and more hands, all the combinations that you can get. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the game. I played it again a couple nights ago. It's just it's perfect on mobile if you don't play something like a Steam Deck a lot or whatever. Mobile would probably be better because you can just pick it up and play it whenever. But even if you just mainly play on console, it's fun to play it on there as well. It's just one of those games that just comes around every so often that just kind of takes over, like a Vampire Survivors or something like that, where you don't really expect it, it just drops, and then you're addicted to it for hours and hours. But mainly today, I wanted to talk about what I've currently been doing. And I do have the unfortunate news of saying that I have currently been playing Destiny 2 again. To say that I'm playing it again is also kind of a stretch. I'm kind of more just mindlessly going through it and experiencing it. But I don't want to fully, dump on it. Like, the main draw of Destiny 2 is playing with a group of friends. And I do have a group of friends that play Destiny, so I'm playing it with them, and I'm enjoying spending time with them and doing something. I mean, I did not get Destiny for a long time. or the latest expansion, Final Shape. I did not get that for a long time, and I would still join the chat, the PlayStation chat, and talk it up and everything, and still had a good time. But it's not the same as it is, doing the same kind of stuff that everyone else is doing, working together as a group, doing your strikes or whatever else. So I did kind of miss out on that. I just wish it wasn't Destiny, if that makes sense. But that's what I kind of want to get into today. So my journey with Destiny, it begins all the way back with Destiny 1. Now, prior to Destiny 1, my online, keyword online, multiplayer gaming mainly consisted of Rainbow Six Vegas, Call of Duty 4, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Grand Theft Auto Online, a few others, but those were the ones that kind of stood out. Now, for not online multiplayer, of course, just run the gamut. Anything that was like a you name it Nintendo title, I would play. Going to friends with the house with a GameCube and just loading up a bunch of stuff was always a ton of fun. Fighting games, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Def Jam, all that stuff. Racing games, Need for Speed Undergrounds. I'm probably dating myself here. Gran Turismos, Burnouts. Almost anything that had co-op. If it had a co-op campaign, it was worth a shot to try it. Seriously. Even games that were single player focused, meaning like the story didn't really involve the second player, but it just kind of let you be a second player. That was fine. It was just fun to be able to do that and do co-op campaigns. I kind of missed that. And yes, I know Destiny has co-op campaigns, but I don't know. There's just something missing to it. It just kind of, they don't feel as, and I think that's more of a Destiny storytelling problem. It just doesn't feel as engaging as some of these co-op campaigns back in the day were. Or I could just be getting old. That could be the case too. Anyways, what I'm getting at is once Destiny came out, the variety of the kind of online games, multiplayer games that I played kind of went downhill after that. Again, that's not really a bad thing, especially initially, but as the years went on, I kind of started to feel it. At first, during Destiny 1's downtime, if there was like a bad expansion or something, I would just swap to Grand Theft Auto Online or Overwatch, and then just go back to Destiny when better expansions came out. Or when one of those games like an Overwatch or a Grand Theft Auto got boring. That's all well and good. But when Destiny 2 came out, it just kind of felt like the droughts felt longer. So like DLC like The Curse of Osiris came out, and it made me hard quit that game for a long time. And during that time, I went even more hardcore into Grand Theft Auto Online, which was a lot of fun. And then I also went into games like Rainbow Six Siege, Red Dead Online, and they took over for a long, long time. But then eventually, for whatever reason, I don't know why, it just stops and people get back into Destiny. I can't explain it. Now, again, if it's a single player game, that doesn't count. I'll always play a single player game whether I'm playing Destiny or not. So single player games for me kind of come first. I'll play those, and then once my buddies get online, then I'll just go ahead and drop into that. If not, if I'm not feeling Destiny at the moment, then okay, then I'm 100% into the single player game, and then I'll still jump into chat later on and kind of talk about it. But nothing else multiplayer wise has really taken over lately. So like, when Call of Duty 4 was around, that was like over a year that we would play Call of Duty 4. Grand Theft Auto Online is probably the bigger example where, in Destiny 1 and in between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, we played that game forever. And then even in Destiny 2, when we took a break, we would still play it a lot. But again, it just kind of becomes less and less. Minecraft was a nice break. Helldivers was a nice break, and that was strong for like a month or two. But then that was kind of it. It just doesn't feel like as a group there is something that pulls all of us in together. And I'd like to believe I'm overthinking this whole thing, and the simplest answer is that people just prefer Destiny, and that's fine. But I refuse to believe it's because of a lack of options. There's a ton of games out there to play. There's Black Ops 6 Zombies mode, which is a ton of fun. Marvel Rivals, which is a ton of fun. Rocket League, Helldivers 2, League of Legends, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart. Sea of Thieves kind of ran its course, but Sea of Thieves is out there. Even like some like fun side games like Among Us or Fall Guys is a great departure from the monotonous tried and true of Destiny. Um, Again, I know I said this earlier, but I don't want to fully dump on my experience with Destiny because overall, I've had more fun with the game than not. Running raids with the boys, completing every Grandmaster Nightfall each season. It's always a lot of fun. And then, of course, the true end game, who's dressed the best and who has the most kills and or boss damage is always enticing to try and come back and beat whatever it is that you did last time. There's no better feeling than seeing yourself at the top of the list of and being able to brag about it. Whether it's the top of kills or boss damage, it's always fun to kind of have that moment to brag about it and then come back, next time and either try and beat it or someone else is trying to beat you. It's fun too. Like, I mean, GM, will sit there and have like 3 times the amount of kills that we all have with his arc bow, but it's just, it's funny to see that. It's funny to see him have like 800 kills and the rest of us have like 100. I like that dynamic as well, though, because it's fun while you're playing the game. You just see a bunch of lightning bolts come out, and okay, those ads are dead. I'm fine. And then other people can focus on other things. Anyways, I'm getting kind of off topic. What I'm saying is that there are times where it is fun to play. Dungeons, for example, are always great when they're new. I mean, not every dungeon is good, but dungeons, the strategies, figuring out what to do. Again, boss damage. How can we one phase this boss? Always a strategy that's kind of fun to go through, but that's just not. That's not what you're always doing. There's the other parts of the game, the story, the weekly grind to power up is just not enjoyable. But then some of the end game stuff like the raids and the dungeons are some of the best things that you can experience in gaming. I don't know. I don't know how to really explain it. It's just I just wish there was something else that we could all get into besides that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Grand Theft Auto 6, we'll see what that does with their online gaming. Maybe that'll switch things up. I've heard rumors of they don't really want to touch they don't really want to mess up what they currently have going on. So it could just be an expansion of what they currently have. I've heard other rumors that it would be like a Roblox style where there's just anything you want to do, basically, you can do in there. There's just going to be a million other type of game types. And GTA Online would just be the hub for all of that. I've heard of things about doing role playing in there and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Again, I just kind of miss to end it one more time. I just kind of miss the variety, and I wish that there was something that could hold us sometimes for a year instead of just a month or two. I am thankful during those month or twos. That's always great. I don't know. Spice is a variety of life, right? And I think that holds true with gaming as well. The more that you try out, the more that you play, you don't always want to go and play Call of Duty every single day. I think it would be nice to switch it up and play a Rocket League every now and then, or play a Mario Kart every now and then. Yeah. But in other news, a little bit more recent of a news, and sticking kind of with Destiny, kind of not, there are some new costume packs that are causing quite the uproar. Destiny recently came out with a Star Wars pack that is pricey. Now again, I haven't bought any kind of Destiny packs in a long time, so I'm not 100% sure what all is only going to be silver forever and what's going to be Bright Dust eventually. But basically, there's 3 costumes, 1 per each character, and then there's a bunch of side stuff that you can buy. There's, ships and sparrows and finishers and emotes and stuff. But just costume alone, now I'm looking online and it says that if you were to buy all the costumes, it's $55 US dollars. I'm not sure how that works. It's 2,000 silver per character, which is $20 per character. There's 3 different types of characters, so that would be $60. Maybe there's a bundle somewhere that I'm missing. If I am, it's not obvious to find. At least it doesn't seem like it when you go to the Eververse store and you just look to buy a Star Wars thing. The only thing that pops up is your character's outfit. I don't know. Maybe I need to scroll through more or whatever. But regardless, if it is $55 or $60, that's kind of become the industry standard per character. I know that, $20. But all the other stuff on top of that is also very pricey. You're looking at another $20 for finishers or whatever and emotes. Now, maybe that'll become Bright Dust later on. I think it probably would be. I think the outfits will probably stay as silver, and then everything else will probably become Bright Dust, or AKA their in-game, free currency. So we'll have to wait on that. But Call of Duty took that and said, hold my beer. Because Call of Duty is coming out on February 20th with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle packs. Now, anybody that is not a Ninja Turtle fan, shame on you. But if you don't know, there's 4 turtles, right? Leo, Mikey, Raph, and Donatello. So if you take that industry standard of $20 per outfit, which they are doing that's $80 right there. Now, another thing that Call of Duty is doing is they're adding a premium reward track on top of that. That's $10, which if you were to unlock everything, includes a Master Splinter skin. So that's an additional $10. So overall, you're looking at $90 to get everything in the Ninja Turtle pack that's coming out in Call of Duty. And of course, that makes the fans upset, and they're already calling for Call of Duty to go full free-to-play, not just Warzone. Look, this is a whole other discussion that you can get into with the how games are monetized nowadays, free-to-play versus not. I do agree that these prices for skins are ridiculous. Even at $20 a character, I think is ridiculous. I also think you should always be able to earn things with in-game currency. Again, Grand Theft Auto is a perfect example of that. If you were to continually play Grand Theft Auto Online, when a new DLC drops, you are spending real in-game currency that you earned from heists and etc. to buy the new stories or the new missions or whatever, new DLC. I've always been a fan of that, and I wish other games would follow more suit. COD points and everything else. Now, and also it needs to be in a way that it's, fathomable. Like you need to be able to play the game, not play the game 100 hours a week in order to get enough currency, but just play it enough to where you can do it. Again, Grand Theft Auto, if I run a couple heists, I'm getting like $1 million per heist. It takes a couple hours a session to do that. You just do that like once a week or whatever. You've got yourself a lot of money saved up, and then when the new stuff comes out, you can buy it that way. I wish more games did that. I know a lot of them do, but with stuff like Call of Duty, that's number one every single year that comes out. I think because it because it was number one in sales in 2024, Black Ops 6. I think they said that's 12 years in a row now that Call of Duty has been number one in sales every year. So that's obviously going to stop when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. But, that kind of a revenue, something has got to be able to be discounted. And then, again, I know this is also a full other conversation, but with all the layoffs that are also going on, I mean, Marvel Rivals apparently is the latest one that I haven't fully looked into, so don't quote me on all of it. But just the fact that the game is doing bonkers. The game is top 5 on consoles and Steam and everything else, and they just fired a bunch of people. It's getting ridiculous. You know, like, if your game is successful, you're rewarded with being fired. Again, that's not every company. Some companies, like the, quote me if I'm wrong here, Baldur's Gate, you know, they have it figured out. Other companies don't, and it's getting tired. It's getting old. I think it's killing the industry. It's killing creativeness. I mean, you know, before all this, the thing was that you had, especially again, Call of Duty. If you have Call of Duty money, then you have money to support other teams within your company that can do research and development, that can think of other games to play, instead of how can we just keep milking every single dollar out of you for this one Call of Duty game. Instead of saying, hey, this team did great on Call of Duty, let's, instead of firing all of them, and I know I'm using Call of Duty as an example, I'm sorry, but, you know, Marvel Rivals, instead of firing these guys, why can't they have some of them work on something else and come up with new ideas, even if it's not going to pan out? I know that gaming is more and more expensive than it ever has before, but there's got to be something. Either the top brass has to make less, or something, it has to be shared more. I don't know what it is, because I'm not, you know, a financial expert, but something has to come out. You know, Nintendo is a perfect example. Years ago, again, I'm going to butcher this as well, but, you know, their top guys, Iwata, took a pay cut because Nintendo, you know, they messed up and they weren't doing well. I think it was with a 3DS or something. They originally weren't doing well in sales, so they took the pay cut. And they came out and they said, you know, if we're just going to fire everybody, that's going to kill morale. That's going to kill our company, because people are going to be too afraid to lose their jobs instead of focusing on what matters, which is the creativity and coming up with new, fun ideas for gaming. So that's kind of my spiel on that. You know, all these people that are losing their jobs now and last year and the year before, because again, every year it's just hundreds and hundreds of more people. My heart goes out to you. I truly do love this industry. I love video games, and to see this continue and basically get worse is aggravating, to say the least. So I hope something changes. I think as consumers we have a responsibility to vote with our wallet, as they say, and you know, companies keep firing people, then you know what, we're not going to be buying your games anymore. Companies come out with $90 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skins, well, nobody's going to buy it, and you're going to have to figure something else out, because it's just not working anymore. And you know, again, I don't know the answer. I wish I did. But, yeah, that's it. That'll be it for this week's episode. Sorry, it was kind of a downer. I don't want to fully dump on Destiny. I don't want to fully dump on the industry right now. It is kind of depressing with all these layoffs that are happening all the time. And again, final word with Destiny. It is a fun game to play. But again, I just want variety, personally. I just want to try different stuff, play different things. Instead of just playing the same thing every single day. So that's it. But thank you so much for listening. If you did like this, please share it with somebody. Comment. You know, let's chat about it. If you didn't like it, if you totally disagree with what I'm saying, comment on that too. Let's you know, talk about it in a polite way. And yeah. But thanks again for listening. We will catch you next week on the Average Joe Gamer podcast. Bye-bye.